So today's topic, I'm gonna talk about how I view this world and how I view this society and how I view about spirituality. So let's get to it. So first off, I'm gonna talk about money restrictions. So the thing with money restrictions is that as human beings, obviously we all crave certain types of freedom, right? Like we all crave certain types of like just freedom from like where we could do whatever we want and whenever we want, which is fine. It's our birthright to be free. But the thing is, we live in a society or live in a world where like everything is ruled by a lot of evil ass people who've been doing this shit for thousands of years since human fucking history, right? Now the problem is we can't really like we can't really travel around the world. We can't really expand our horizons. We can't really live life stress free because we're not surviving. We are living life. We are not enjoying life. We are coping with life. A lot of people are coping with life. We shouldn't have to live life where like we're forced where we're being ruled by fucking pieces of fucking paper. I get it. That's a problem. That's how the government or these pedophiles who rules the world, that's how they use it to like control society in a way to where it makes it more like constructed or like more structured or more like civilized and shit like that. I get it, but like this human experience is fucking weird though, because it's like because people they're forced in horrible situations. They can't get out of the situations. A lot of people feel hopeless. A lot of people feel stuck in life because they feel like they can't get out of their situation um because of the money system. You know, there are times where like people are forced to be around very abusive family members and just very like abusive households because they can't get out of their situation. People are forced to be stuck around people they don't want to be around with. They're forced to work at jobs they don't want to be in. They're forced to like be depressed and sad because they feel like they have no control over their life because of the money system, because of finances. And what makes it worse is that like we have worse shit going on in these third world countries. We have like a lot of wars and battles going on. There's a lot of poverty and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're in the year 2024. Why is it that like as human beings we constantly have to slave our way with these bullshit ass jobs? Because you got fucking time speeding up. You got the days going by a lot faster. Time is speeding up extremely fucking fast. It's fucking speeding up. And like, why is that as human beings, we're just being enslaved working for the system? Since time is speeding up, we have less time to focus on ourselves. I'm not saying if people love what they do, they love what they work, and let these people work. But I'm saying people who just they can't handle society, they can't handle the system because it's driving them crazy. Yes, it is because it's stressful. The system is not built for everyone. As human beings, we're all unique. We're all meant for different things. All of us are not meant to do the same shit when it comes to working for the system out of survival. You know what I'm saying? So it's fucking weird. So like, it just sucks how like we can't like a lot of people, including myself, we're not living our best life. We're not living life. We are coping with life. You know, if we live in a society or world where like we're constantly worried about when, like, how are we gonna pay the bills, or like when is our next meal, or like we're always worried about the future. There's nothing wrong with that, but we're doing it in the wrong way. Where like the society it forces us to live life out of fear. Fear can be a great motivator, but at the same time, it doesn't have to be necessary. There's different ways you could go about. There's different ways where you can reconstruct society without people having to live off of fear. There's we're in the year 2024. There's a lot of information. A lot of people work well together. But the problem is that we have a lot of evil ass people who rule this world who has a lot of control over this shit. You know, and Chance when he really exposed he goes deep into it, he really exposes this shit. Because like there are times and I'm gonna use my life example. My life example is very minor, but you guys are gonna understand where the fuck I'm coming from. And I understand everyone's life uh mission is unique and shit. Um, look at that. I already got trolls. Hey, but you guys are still watching my video, so but but and these trolls threw me off. Um, hang on. Can y'all hear me talk? Let me know in the comment section. Can you guys hear me? Is my mic on or fuck? Hang on. Okay, so earlier in my life, right? I came from a very dysfunctional uh family, right? a a very dysfunctional family. Um, they're very abusive. They're very toxic, right? And like I couldn't get out of that situation because of where I was living in. My family growing up, they didn't know jack shit what the fuck they were doing. They I didn't really come from a very supportive family like that. Yes, I came from the middle class and stuff like that, but they didn't know what they were doing. A lot of my family, they have a lot of mental health issues, and they have a lot of narcissistic personality disorders because of the society of this world we're living in. Since we live in a world that's ruled by pedophiles and evil ass people who's been ruling over this shit for a long ass fucking time since human history, yes, that's going to create a lot of chaos and confusion and a lot of trauma within the average human mind. This is why we have a lot of narcissistic people. We have a lot of crimes. We have a lot of criminals. We have a lot of deaths. We have a lot of wars and battles going on because there's a lot of chaos going on. Now, but and me observing this, there are times where I'm thinking to myself, because a lot of people, where there's nothing wrong with that, it's good to question what's going on when it comes to like this society, when it comes to the 3D earthly rules in this world. But no one questions about the spiritual sides of it. No one questions about the fucking like afterlife or like what's going on and shit like that, right? So like me, you guys don't have to agree. I'm not, I guess, religious, whatever, but like me, I question God and I question the universe and I question my ancestors and I question these other ancestral bloodlines that were here before us. I question a lot of shit on what goes down in afterlife, on what is the afterlife, how does it take place? Are there different realms? Is there different gods? Is there a creator? Who created all this shit? Who's responsible for all this shit? Are they responsible for this shit? Now, the reason why I question a lot of like spiritual shit like that is because a lot of people mm, talked about this. There's a lot of reports, and I've also experienced this shit. Also, um, there's a lot of demonic possession and spiritual warfare going on right now. I've seen this with my family members. I've seen this with other people. There's been a lot of reports of it. When a lot of people talk about narcissism and demonic entities and shit like that, people have been reports of seeing people like the people they're dealing with that are very narcissistic and very evil. Um, their eyes, there've been reports of their eyes changing from like normal to pitch black or to like reptile-ish, and also how like their personality is able to switch up from like different personalities to where like it's not normal. You see a lot of I'm not saying narcissistic people and arrogant egotistical people are demonically possessed. I'm not saying that. I'm not talking about that. As human beings, we all have an ego. We're all narcissistic. We're all arrogant to a certain degree. I'm not talking about those types. I'm talking about people who are very like sinister. We do have a lot of people who are sinister living in this world. I've experienced this shit myself. I witnessed it. A lot of people also have experienced this shit as well. It's all over the internet. I'm not saying everything on the internet is true, but there are certain truths within the internet that people have experienced that are valid. That's why you gotta use your discernment, you gotta use your intuition, and you gotta use your own life experiences to pinpoint on what they're saying is true and what they're saying is not. So me experiencing and knowing this, clearly there's something outside of us at play. People may call it, when it comes to religious texts, the devil, spiritual, like demonic warfare, spiritual warfare. I do believe those things are real, but at the same time, it's like not only we're dealing with corrupt government and corrupt people who rule this world. So people in the spiritual community, they call them pedophiles, they call them like Masonic bloodlines, the Rothschilds, the Illuminati. Me personally, I don't know, but I want to be surprised. I feel like they are on point though, because it makes sense. Because look at all the world corruption that's going on. Look at all the enslavement and us forcing to do shit that we really don't have to do. I'm sure the government and other people, I don't like saying the government, but I'm saying people who rule this world, I'm sure they have a lot of access to very advanced technology and advanced information that we know nothing of. Why do I say this? Because this all these life can't just offer all this shit. There has to be more life has to offer. There has to be. As human beings, we can't. It's not our life purpose. We can't just be wake up, eat, take a shit, and work and go to sleep. That can't be our life mission. There has to be more than what life has to offer. From a spiritual side, people say that Earth, the human experience, is a school because supposedly what I've heard is that apparently that as a soul and spirit, in order for you to really grow and advance at a spiritual level, um, you have to go through a lot of trauma and pain. So in order for a soul or a spirit to advance and grow, they have to experience more trauma and pain. Then the best way for them to do that is to reincarnate into a human vessel or to a human body or to a fucking earth, right? So if that's the case, then it makes sense that as us spirits in the human body, we experience so much turmoil, bullshit, pain, and a lot of stupid ass shit, both externally and internally. Externally to the point where we're dealing with money restrictions, world corruption, enslavement, and a lot of bullshit and wars and battles and violence. But internally, we deal with a lot of emotional trauma, like abandonment, rejection, um, other traumatic shit that I can't really think of, but there's more. It's a lot of emotional and psychological scars. So as human beings, we deal with a lot, and it makes sense that since the human experience in itself is so fucking traumatizing, because apparently every human being goes through a lot of fucked up shit, right? And I guess that's part of. I'm not saying it's true, but this is what I've heard. So it makes sense that since Earth is a fucking school for souls and spirits to grow and evolve rapidly, it makes sense that the best way to do that is to experience being in the human body and the human experience. And this is why we experience so much bullshit, pain, and trauma, externally and internally. We experience all this shit so we can heal, grow, and evolve and advance as a spirit or soul. For what reason, I really don't know. I think it's fucking stupid, but it makes sense that because when you go through more bullshit, you overcome it, then you go through more bullshit. I understand it's part of the growth process. That's how you learn and evolve, become a better version. That's how you get out of your comfort zone. But at the same time, I feel like in my life, and I'm sure other people experience this as well, that I feel like I've overcame and a lot of situations in life, but I'm still going through certain types of bullshit or certain types of lessons when it comes to connections, people, or certain environments I'm in that I feel like I'm way past above, but I'm still being subjected to that shit. So I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying? Like at times I feel like, am I wasting my life being stuck in these spiritual fucking cycles and shit like that? Or like I feel like this world, if you're not careful, this world could really easily sway you off your life path or to waste your fucking life. I really do believe that because in this society, in this world, everyone is doing shit off of fear. Oh, if you don't work at a certain job, if you don't work at a fast food place, then then you're not gonna get money, then you're not gonna pay bills, you're not gonna have your own place, you're not gonna have your own car, you're not gonna feed yourself, you're not gonna take care of yourself, or if you have a family, you can't take care of your family. So you better work at that job. You better work at that bullshit ass job you don't want to be in. That takes up most of your time. But not only that, but God is creating a situation to where time is speeding up every day. You got the days going by a lot more faster. So when you work for these 9 to 5 jobs, you got less time for your personal self and you can be more stressed out. You know what I'm saying? So like what's going on? So what the fuck is going on? And we're in the year 2024. There isn't certain types of systems where like or certain types of credit banks that's interconnected to the whole fucking world to where like people don't have to work no more. You know what I'm saying? Or if they do want to work, it has to be optional. You know, so it's like what the fuck is going on, dude? Like, come on, like time is speeding up. Obviously, you got days going by a lot faster. So why isn't the system catching up? And I feel like one of the reasons why the system isn't catching up is because again we have pedophiles and we got corrupt government who fucking rule this fucking world. You know what I'm saying? So like, what the fuck is going on? So like, why is God allowing this bullshit to happen? Why? I get it, it's free will. I get it, it's a devil's playground. Or like, since we're in the 3D realm, that gives more room for demonic entities to be at play. So they have a lot of influence. But it's just like, what the fuck, man? It's like it's just stupid because it's like the human experience in itself. And I'm not trying to sound smart or like micromanage or be a fucking Karen, but what I'm saying is that we deal with a lot of bullshit that's very unnecessary. You, you know what I'm saying? Fuck, I'm kind of sick. Um, but it's just crazy, man. It's fucking crazy. Like why? Why is time speeding up so fast, bro? This has been going on since 2018. I'll never forget that. Ever since then, it's just been wrapping up. But the society, the system is still the fucking same. Okay, so I was kind of off topic, but now I'm gonna talk about something else. I really want to go more into this topic, but I don't feel like doing it. Now I'm gonna talk about my personal shit. So I'm gonna talk about my spiritual experiences. Um, now I'm gonna talk about these twin flames and these these spiritual connections, because this shit's been fucking crazy. So me, um, I'm not gonna mention all of it because I've already mentioned this on my videos. If you guys are new, then go binge watch all my videos. Y'all gotta just play catch up. Um, but this person that I feel like is my twin flame, that we both have a spiritual connection. That shit was fucking crazy. I don't feel her energy right now. Um, I don't feel like um again, I don't feel her energy. I don't have these obsessive thoughts with her right now, thank God. But like fuck. But like the past couple of days, the past weeks, even in like at random days even, that's when I feel her energy at random times the most. And whenever I do feel her energy, it'll last throughout the whole fucking day, the whole night. And there are times I can't get her off my mind. There are times I have like rapid heartbeats, a lot of sexual energy, and like I'm not even forcing those things, but it's been purposely going on in my nervous system. My nervous system gets overstimulated, and that's not the only. I've experienced this shit with multiple people before. It's a fucking soul tie, it's an energetic tie. But that's how you know that could be a sign that you're experiencing a karmic connection, or like a karmic connection or a fucking soul contract orchestrated by God or the fucking universe, so you can learn bullshit ass lessons, more than likely fucking trauma that 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 you were subjected to by being born into a very dysfunctional, very retarded, very uh, emotionally family members who are very unaware and who don't know what the fuck they're doing. So like orchestrated by the creator and God, because a lot of people who experience twin flame connections and spiritual connections, they're all meant to break generational curses. So why does that mean? A lot of people, we all have similar life experiences to where we've experienced a lot of abuse from family systems. So it's like it's fucking insane, man. So what the fuck is going on, dude? I do feel like just reading these comments, I do feel like there's certain spirits and certain souls who are ahead of their time. Like this why I feel like these YouTubers who speak a lot of real shit, but they can't seem to attract an audience or they're not well known. It's because they're ahead of their time. And you look at patterns like these people are ahead of their time. They've experienced a lot of shit be right before the collective experiences it. Either that and or they do experience what the collective experience, but they experience this shit more intense at a more high level before the collective and shit like that, pretty much. So they can like kind of be like messengers or help the collective in some way to help guide them in the right path. I do believe that. I used to be in denial, but I'm starting to believe that because a lot of people don't talk about the shit that needs to be addressed. A lot of people talk about stupid ass shit off of Masonic programming. Shout out to Chauncey on that he talks about, you know, because if people don't know what the fuck you're talking about, they can't grasp or they haven't experienced it by God or source, then they're gonna come up with their own Masonic program to come up with the bullshit excuse. That's how deep the program is. I'm not sure if I can continue this video. I have a sore throat. I should have gotten water, but I don't give a fuck. Fuck. Where was I? But yeah, but with these twin flame and spiritual connections, this is fucking intense. Cause like I can't continue this video. So fuck. Because a couple of days ago, I was having extreme heart pains and fucking chest pains, and I never had a history of heart pains or like heart problems. I always get checked at a doctor and nothing happened. But it felt like someone was stabbing my chest and stabbing my heart. That shit would happen like overnight. That shit was horrible. I felt like I was dying, and that's not the only time I've experienced. I've experienced it multiple times before, like over the past couple years, but it's been a while. But I'm experiencing this shit now. The only time I experience intense heart pains and like someone steadying my chest is when I'm connected to my fucking twin flame. I've experienced two twin flames in this life so far. There are certain people who only experience one twin flame. Some people experience two twin flames, or there's also other people who actually experience twin flame groups, where like they meet multiple people, but they're all their fucking twin flame. A twin flame is not a person; it's a fucking energy. It's energy transferred to a person. It's hard to explain because it's more of a 5D metaphysical fucking spiritual um meaning behind it. So it's not the human brain, the human you can't really it's not logic pretty much. It's not logical. It's spiritual. It's advanced. Well, it's not really advanced because as human beings, all this shit that seems advanced, it will seem basic to us one day, but as of right now, it seems advanced. Even Chinatown talks about this. So, but yeah, so it's an energy. Why and how do I know this? I've explained this a lot on my videos. Um, so because the twin flame I've experienced back in 2017, me and her had intense energy. We've experienced all the twin flame symptoms: the runner and chaser phase, the obsessive thinking. Even when I was dating this person, we had a lot of we had a lot of like telepathy and shit. The thing with soulmates and like if you feel very connected to a person, you and this person will have a strong telepathic like communication, or you two could really get and understand each other because you two have a strong bond. To where you two could read each other's body language, you two could read each other's energy or pick up on the vibes of each other, and you could do that with anyone. But if you're really tapped into to an individual, you could do that. But I'm more so talking about a person you're just naturally drawn to, you're naturally attracted to, you know. But I'm off topic. But with that person back in 2017, I've experienced all the symptoms: intense heart pain, a lot of sexual energy, a lot of obsessive thinking, out of my control. And I feel this person's energy a lot, and that shit was fucking intense. Especially after we broke up, that shit was fucking intense. A lot of purging, a lot of releasing trauma from what I've experienced in this lifetime, my past life, and generational trauma from my family's bloodline. I had to purge out all that shit. I still am to this day. That was the purpose of this connection. So that so I kept feeling her energy. I couldn't fully detach from her from 2017 when I first met her all the way to I think 2022. Then in 2023, I, I wasn't feeling anyone's energy and shit like that. But now this year, I've connected with another fucking person who who have the same symptoms as a twin flame. But the thing with a twin flame is like you can't. It's not logical. It's this type of thing where you know in your heart. And so I've experienced all the shit I've experienced with her, with the other woman back in 2017. But the woman in 2017, now that I fully detached and I've ended that fucking soul contract with her, I don't feel her energy. I'm not obsessed with her at all. I don't feel anything towards her. And I thought I was gonna be tied down to her my whole life, which I wasn't now. Thank God. But even though it took me like fucking like 5 to 6 years to fully detach, because it's not me that's a problem. It's a fucking energy. This is why, like I said, we don't have free will to a certain extent. All the people you meet, all the places you're at, all the situations you've been in, to a certain extent, but more so the people you're around with, who you're surrounded by, the jobs you work at, the places you're living at, even your finances to a certain degree. All that shit is fucking predestined. You're meant to experience all this shit. I swear to God. I swear to fucking God. I'm not saying I'm right, but it just at least in my life, it seems to be the case because I had no control over being around and being born and subjected to a very abusive family. I had no control over being put into these spiritual connections to where I feel that energetic soul tie with these people. I had no, oh, you know what I'm saying? So it's fucking crazy. I have no control over the people I'm around with, you know? Um, but so um, I don't know. I see these fucking trolls are getting me off topic, man. These fucking trolls, bro. Fuck. But anyways, I don't know where I was heading at, anyways, but basically in life we don't have free will as much as we think we do. I'm not sure how it is for you guys' life or other people's, but at least for my life, I feel like because I feel like God kind of like wants me to, because me, I feel like I really do believe I have a certain spiritual mission and a life mission in this lifetime, which is to break generational curses. The reason why I say this is because all the shit I've experienced, all the connections I've been in life situations, all that shit makes sense when it comes to dealing with narcissism, healing trauma, experiencing trauma. And only way for you to release trauma from your family's bloodline is to first experience this shit to the fullest extent. So that's one of the main reasons why God always put me in situations where I have a lot of these fucking intense soul ties with a lot of romantic connections I've been in, so they can help purge out all the fucking trauma that I've experienced in this lifetime, maybe past lives, and maybe from my family's generational trauma. How do I know this? It's an inner knowing, but I've booked a lot of personal tarot readings that I trust from a personal tarot reader that I fully trust, that she knows what the fuck she's talking about, and all the things she mentioned and confirmed that what the fuck I've experienced is in fact fucking true. Um, and also I've done a lot of years and hours of fucking studying, observing what the fuck is going on. And one way I can't say for your life, but this is from my own. This is what helps me though. But I can't say for you. But I feel like just try this out. One way to pinpoint your life mission, your spiritual mission, is to see the patterns and the constant repeat of cycles and in the repetitive situations you've been in that you're trying to overcome. It could be anything. It could be money. It could be anything. That's a clear indicator. That's part of your soul mission or your spiritual path that yeah you're kind of meant to experience and to overcome pretty much. Um, so yeah, so me, do I enjoy my life path? Do I agree with it? No, I don't. It was forced upon me. The thing with your life mission, it's kind of forced upon you, and you don't have to have one life mission, or obviously like that. I'm speaking about basic shit right now. You could love what you do. You could find your passions. You can find your hobbies. You have the free will to do all that. But I'm more so talking about shit that's kind of forced upon you that you're forced to overcome. Some people give you health, mental health, physical health, food and diet, finances, fucking anything. but and no, I'm not saying there's a select few people that are meant to break generational curses. No, a lot of people we're all meant to break generational curses. It's complex though. But so yeah, so I personally believe because I've been doing this shit since 2017. No, there's no reason why I'm still grieving over abandonment, rejection, trauma like that. Because clearly I'm doing this shit from my past lives, this lifetime, or my fucking family's generational trauma. But the thing that sucks is that as you live a life, since life is already traumatizing, because we live in a world full of like um pedophiles. You know what? Hang on, I'm gonna ban Nick Gomez. He's being a fucking annoying piece of shit. I'm gonna put user on timeout for 24 hours. Peace, bitch. All right. These fucking trolls, man. Um, Probably orchestrated by the government and shit like that. But yeah, but all the connections I've been in, all the situations I've been in, all that shit was orchestrated by a fucking higher power, which I realize, which makes sense because all the things I've experienced is not logical. It's very spiritual, very fucking spiritual. You can't really like talk about you being constantly obsessed with someone where you can't get them off your mind 24/7, and you're not forcing it, but it's been forced upon you. A lot of like chest and heart pains that it feels like someone is stabbing you, or like a lot of sexual energy, or like a lot of like you just can't get this person like you just feel this person's energy, and then you see a lot of synchronicities like repeated numbers. You like you'll see this person's name everywhere. You see this person's car everywhere, the type of car they're driving. You'll see that everywhere. There's a lot of synchronicities at play, and then you come across YouTube videos that resonates what the fuck you're experiencing, and they confirm what you're experiencing. I've experienced that a lot, and all these relationships have to do with me healing my fucking trauma. And this shit's not fucking easy. This shit's not easy. A lot of crying, a lot of like sleepless nights, a lot of like just spazzing out, a lot of like just purging, purging, purging. And it gets to a tense where like sometimes yes, I do need a therapist, or I do need help, I do need support. But what makes this shit so hard is that like I said before, in order for you to break trauma and break generational curse, you have to experience this shit first. It doesn't have to be the exact same as what your family experienced, but it's the energy that one makes this shit so fucking hard. If breaking generational curses and generational trauma and doing the shadow work is easy, then everyone would do it. But not everyone could do it. This is why we have a lot of narcissistic people, a lot of people who have a lot of mental health issues, a lot of people who are very evil and sinister, who are very cold-hearted. People who aren't acting like themselves because of they can't do the shadow work because it's too painful. Even my family members, like I had to cut a lot of people off. I had to get away from them because they weren't willing to do the shadow work. that results in them becoming very narcissistic and cold-hearted because they're not connected to source. If you have a lot of trauma, naturally, as human beings, we're all going to be subjected to trauma by default because how evil this world is. So by default, you need some type of source or create your own source to where you need to go to, like God or love or some type of source energy. But if you experience a lot of trauma, life has beaten you down so much, and it's too painful for you to do the healing work, then you're not connected to source energy. And what happens when you're not connected to source energy is that that gives room for demonic entities to infiltrate your mind, aura, or fucking energy. And when that happens, is now you have an entity attachment by a fucking demonic spirit. So now, and they use those vessels to harm innocent people, like as their family members, close family loved ones, or people who have an important or very spiritual mission. They gang up and attack these people the most. This is why there's been a lot of reports of physical characteristics and changes and personality changes when it comes to dealing with narcissistic people. Because yes, they have a disability to a certain extent, but it's also spiritual warfare because the shit they do is not normal. It's why a lot of narcissistic people, a lot of like sinister people, they all act the same. They all do the same shit. It's like they're all reading from the same hymn. It's like like they all operate from the same fucking way. Why is that? It's because you're dealing with a demonic entity. So when people aren't doing the shadow work, like I said before, then not only they have a demonic entity attachment, but now it's like they're not connected to their heart center. And when then that's dangerous because when they're not connected to the heart center, then they're gonna make decisions and things to where it's not logical to where they're harming innocent people and loved ones. This shit is a real thing because I've seen this shit. Um, the biggest challenge for me though is that I have a lot of bitterness and anger towards God and the Creator and towards the universe, like because I feel like I've been through a lot of things that weren't right, that wasn't justified, and I feel like I haven't received justice to a lot of situations. And it's how naturally how this world is, how the society is, and how people are, that really pissed me off so much, and it really upsets me. So there are times where I do feel hopeless, and I do blame God, I do blame the Creator. But one of my biggest obstacles in challenges life is to learn how to have faith within some type of source energy. It doesn't have to be God or the Creator, but some type of source energy, so where I can fully trust, where I can fully like put my faith in, so I can have all that love, so I won't become cold hearted when I'm navigating in this world. Because in this world, in this life, you have to have some type of source energy that you need to abide by, whether like it could be God or the universe or like some type of like a belief system, religion, spirituality, or like your heart center, or like generate that source from yourself. It could be anything to where you have that source energy to fall back on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I hope it makes sense, but because life is harsh. Me personally, life doesn't have to be like this. Life doesn't have to really be like this, but God kind of orchestrated it like this, in my opinion. I don't know it's because of free will. I don't know it's because so as human spirits, I mean as spirits, we gotta learn and evolve and grow in order for it to be through trauma. So naturally Earth and human experience is naturally traumatizing. So this is why there's no fucking changes in this world. Who knows, man? But this is why they call it the devil's playground. Or some people in spiritual community call this hell. Which makes sense, but um now I'm gonna talk about the pain of abandonment and the pain of the twin flame experience. Um, it sucks that when you're navigating in this world and then you meet that one person where you feel extremely connected to that person, where you two just vibe well, the energy is good, and it's not one sided, but it's two sided, and like you feel so safe and comfortable with that person, or but unfortunately you two are just meant to like either learn lessons or like a trauma bond, or you two are not aren't meant to be each other's lives. You two are meant to teach each other lessons so you two can learn based off of trauma. That's one of the hardest, most challenging things in life that I feel like, at least for me, that's so painful. Yes, I have a lot of gratitude because I have arms and legs and I have a roof over my head. I can always be put in a worse situation. But what makes these like spiritual connection so intense to me is because I'm intaking my family's trauma when it comes to abandonment, when it comes to rejection, when it comes to loss. All that shit doing at once, especially with these spiritual connections. So when I'm connected to someone, I feel so connected because it's like this world is so dark and gloomy and everything's just so negative. But when you meet that special person to where you feel connected to that person, you feel like you act like you're a genuine self, and you can take off that mask, and that that feels like that feels like heaven. That feels like being connected to God and source energy. It does. But when that person's just stripped away from you, it's not now it's like you're forced to face reality by yourself without this person. And that's the nature of this twin flame and soulmate connections. That's what it's meant to teach you is that you got to learn how to build that love and source energy within yourself. No, I didn't make this up. I got these from other people. Shout out to them. I don't want to take their information. All the things I'm talking about, I got these from other people. But I'm throwing this shit all over the place and try to throw into my words as well. You know what I'm saying? So I'm regurgitating on what they're saying, but I'm doing it in different perspectives and shit like that. So so yeah, that's the things I've I really struggle with. Me, I consider myself as a hopeless romantic. So like me, the older I'm getting, I've always wanted to be in a very loving, high vibrational relationship to where like I have this person's back, this person have my back, we're both connected to each other, and maybe one day a family. You know what I'm saying? That'd be awesome. You know, because me, because I never, because to see my family how narcissistic they became, how they switched up on me, and how abusive they are, not only towards me but towards each other, it's fucking disheartening. It's very traumatizing. I don't want anyone to experience what I experience. It's very disheartening and sad. So like that's probably one of the main reasons and motivators that I want to be in a relationship and to have a loving family one day. You know what I'm saying? It's me witnessing a lot of toxic relationships and generational curses. It gets too much, you know. But it just sucks when God is kind of like testing you so you can learn to overcome and grow. So God can put you in a situation that you need to be in. But in order for God to do that, God has to put you in situations where you need to learn lessons so you can grow and evolve. So that's one of the hardest things that I just never want to experience again. But I'm aware I still have to experience this shit. So it's fucking annoying. It's not fair. It's stupid. But I really have no control over this when it comes to city cycles. But I gotta do what I gotta do. You know. But it's bullshit. But this is how it is. Um, I'm gonna end this video. But I'm gonna talk about the Mercury retrograde. This Mercury retrograde is really pissing me off, man. Because every Mercury retrograde, the electronics always fucking up. Everything's so slow. Everything's laggy. Um, a lot of decisions. It's hard to make sound decisions. You tend to lose a lot of stuff. You tend to break a lot of stuff, or a lot of shit tends to break. All that shit because of a fucking Mercury retrograde. A lot of people. A lot of people become very agitated. They become very bitchy and whiny and moody. A lot of fights happen during the Mercury retrograde and all this shit, you know. So but I'm gonna talk about working out and fitness. Working out and fitness is extremely important because if you live life where you're out of shape or like you're not working out as much, then that's bad because life is as an adult, life is naturally stressful. So when you're constantly exercising, you're getting a good pumping, you're getting a good heart rate in. That gives you a foundation on the things not only you can look forward to on every day, but you can also add that to your routine to it because when you're working out, it naturally releases stress. It makes you feel good, and your body feels better. It looks better, and now you have more confidence within yourself, and it also develops a lot more mental strength and self discipline. So this is why I love working out. It's extremely important. Not don't only lift weights, but also do a lot of running and cardio work. You need to exercise your heart muscles and your cardio muscles too. You know, but that's all I gotta say, and I hope this video helps. And appreciate you. I mean, Vegas. Sorry if this video was kind of negative, but there's any video topics you would like for me to talk about, I don't mind. Um, I just got to get more storage room. I recently bought a camera so I can make more videos. So me, I love making videos. I love speaking my mind. I love speaking my thoughts. If I don't, then I feel like I'm go crazy. But yeah. But if you need anything, any video recommendations you want me to talk about, just feel free. Please let me know. I do a lot of like rants. my channel is kind of like my own therapy. So if I cuss a lot, if I do that, just please don't take it personal. I just love expressing myself pretty much. But um now I'm also talking about the things that kind of motivate me in life. Um because there are times in my life where like I felt like I've done everything in my power to become the best version of myself. But what gives me that extra edge, that extra motivation is the afterlife. I'm not religious by any means, but I do believe there is an afterlife, and I do believe there is life after death. So if life becomes very shitty, or if people are very shitty, or life is just, or if this society, this world is just so fucking low and so evil and barbaric, I go back to God. I go back to the afterlife, thinking that okay, the human experience is just temporary. I don't have to be here forever. It's not life. Isn't you know what I'm saying? Once I pass away, then I don't have to deal with all this bullshit ever again. No matter how painful it is, no matter how lonely it is, just know that on the other side, there's a lot of abundance, bliss, and happiness and safety on the other side of it. And me, I can't wait to experience that shit. I can't wait to reconnect with the creator of the universe, my spirit, my higher self, God, or who, whatever it's called, source energy. I can't wait to go to the afterlife and not deal with this shit. Hopefully, reincarnation isn't forced on us, but if it's like optional, then I will not reincarnate. I would just go in the spiritual realm and whatever realm or world out there. I'd rather experience that at a blissful state instead of having to reincarnate to a human vessel because I feel like Earth is pretty much a fucking test. This is why there's a lot of bullshit, there's a lot of trauma, there's a lot of trial and error, setbacks, obstacles, and pain and grief. It makes sense because Earth is a fucking test. And the real world is the afterlife in the spiritual realms. That's the real world. That's when you connect to your ancestors, your family bloodlines and shit like that. And you know what I'm saying? So that's my main motivation, especially the more I'm maturing, the more I'm getting older, is like I tend to look at life at a more like mature level because I used to take it, I still do take it personally. It's hard for me to let go. But just knowing how shitty this world is, this is why the afterlife and God and source are my main motivators because once I die, once I pass away, I don't have to deal with any of this negative ass shit. You know what I'm saying? All this bullshit that as human beings we all don't have to experience. We don't deserve to experience, but we're subjected to these experiences out of our control because of how evil this world is. This is how much bullshit that God likes to allow. You know what I'm saying? And people may say, "Oh, as human beings, we have the power to change." I do agree with that to a certain extent, but it comes to the point in time where like let's look at the facts. This has been going on for thousands of years. Nothing but chaos, wars, enslavement, and battles going on. So why is it still continuing, but in different areas or like it's happening in different ways, but it's the same energy? That's a fucking problem. You know what I'm saying? But that's how I view it. So I blame God and the Creator, but by all means, we all have our own opinion. So me getting older and because the older we get, the closer we are to dying, that motivates me a lot to get through a life knowing that yes, life may seem tough, life may seem challenging, but at the end of the day, there's always light in the tunnel to where I don't have to experience this bullshit. There is better shit outside of this human experience, and I don't have to put up with this shit. I don't. I can do my best to make changes and to live life to the best of my ability. That's also my motivation, but at the same time, is like there's better out there, you know, instead of all this bullshit. And it's kind of disturbing too, knowing that a lot of human beings go through suffering and trauma and shit like that because Earth is a school. But you know, go and do what you gotta do. But that's all I gotta say, and I hope you all have a good one and take care. Peace. I'll end this.